Mobile devices are an exciting new area for Flash development, but how is it possible to debug code that is executed on an external device? This lesson shows you how. So here we have a basic mobile project, and we're targeting Air 3.2 for Android. So if we want to actually debug this on a mobile device, there's kind of two ways to do it. We can go into our Actions panel here, and we'll want to actually set a breakpoint somewhere so that our application will pause and we'll be able to introspect the application when it's running on the device. So let's just put a breakpoint right here within this zoom handler function. And this code has just been generated from our snippets panel to simply allow the scale, pinch and zoom, transform gesture event of this icon right here when it's running on a device. So it's a basic multi-touch input gesture. So now that we've got that debug point there, we should be able to just go into debug and note that I do have a device that's actually connected to my machine here. So if we pop over to my camera, we can see, okay, there's my device running. So let's go back over to Flash Professional and go debug, debug movie, and we're going to choose on device via USB. This will allow us to debug over USB. So now it's going to publish, and this takes a few moments. Let's pop over to our camera here, and we'll just wait for our application to show up. Okay, so you saw that little window that popped up. That was just saying that it was trying to connect to our debugger, which it went away very quickly because it didn't take long to do so. But basically, if you see that window, it gives you a certain amount of time for the debugger to connect over USB. So now I've placed that breakpoint in there so that when I actually move or actually do a gesture on the device, it should pause everything and allow us to debug the application. So let's perform that gesture. Do a simple zoom. Okay, so we don't see anything happen on the device, but things are actually happening within Flash Professional. So in here, we can see that we have indeed stopped or paused for debugging on this particular line of code. And we can look in our event to see that it's Flash events transform gesture event. So it actually has executed exactly like we wanted it to. So some other things we can do is get some information about the device itself. And to do that, we can go into something like this. And let's say that we want to know what orientations are actually supported on this device. We can go down into Stage. And within Stage, we have the supported orientations vector object. So on this particular device, which happens to be a Droid 3 by Motorola, we have, it looks like 4 supported orientations. We have the default, rotated left, rotated right, and upside down. And there's a variety of different things you can find from here. But by setting breakpoints within our code and then debugging over USB, we have access to any of the information we could possibly want within our application while it's running on the device, which is good as you can get as far as debugging goes. So let's stop this debug session here. And I want to mention one other thing, and that is the debug on a device over Wi-Fi. So if we go into our settings here for Air for Android or Air for iOS, we actually have under the deployment tab the ability to select a debug deployment type. And in this case, it's not going to install the application on a device automatically because it's not connected. What this would do is it would package the application for us, but then allow us to sort of write in or define the specific wireless network connection that we would use to connect to the debugger. So in this case, this is the actual IP address that my Flash Professional debugger is running on here. So if we do that and hit publish, and then install it on a device, run it, and choose to go to debug, begin remote debug session, and choose ActionScript 3, we will get this little debug screen here. And in the output window, we can see that it's waiting for player to connect. So this is going to wait until it receives information wirelessly from the device, and any of these debug points and all that stuff is going to work just as it would as if we had the device plugged into the computer over USB. So this has been a demonstration of how to debug both over USB on a connected device or via Wi-Fi, if we wish.